You're getting best effort, but the quality, we'll see. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Not even a countdown or intro or anything tonight because we're running a little bit behind, so I just started the stream. We are going to be doing viewer games for Phobies. Let you know I am a content affiliate. That means that the Phobies team does in fact give me coffee for producing Phobies content. That's why. I don't know why it didn't load the game right away, but that is why you'll see momentarily there's a big pile of coffee. It's also apparently Lippy's Spring? Oh, we're starting already. Jesus. Spring Fling. Sure, whatever. Holy shit, the sound is loud. Sound is loud. We get another uncomfortable map rotation. We're going to be jumping in. We're going to be looking at some viewer games. Let's see what we got. There are a few in the bucket. Got to get through all the pop-ups. There was somebody a while back that was desperately trying to tell me that people... I think we talked about this before, that people who play chess would not be interested in playing Phobies because it has pop-ups. Like, I feel like people who play chess live in the year 2025, so they are well aware. But anyway, we do have basically one individual comprising the majority of the games, but it is not dearh this time. It's going to be the Painful Fate show, but we're not going to start with the Painful Fate game because we'll save those. By save those, I mean they're later in the order. But anyway, we're going to jump in. We're going to jump in here. If I hit the correct button, we're going to jump in here with Wozzard. Wozzard? Woozard is our hero in the blue trunks. I managed to win against a higher level team that uses Chevelle and Enoch. Currently under challenge, it doesn't allow me to use Chevelle, Billy, Sentinels, Phantom, Cupcake, Doc Holiday, Unicorn, and Oopsie. Why do wait, Oopsie. Hold up. What? Hold up. What are we doing here? When I was gonna say that, did Karst put you up to this? Because this sounds like a Karst challenge of like try and win without these Phobies. But I don't think Karst is hating on Oopsie. Obviously, this is not a frenemies game since levels were mentioned. We do know Shadow Force. Shadow Force is one of the best players in the game for a very, very long time. Goon. I don't know. I was thinking earlier today that I spend a lot of time talking about the same goddamn things every one of these streams, and I'm like, I should make an effort tonight to not talk about problems with the various balance stuff. And then the very first game is like very much quite obviously a statement about balance, right? We're still going to try and avoid it. We're instead going to talk about map balance now, but this map is doo-doo. Oh, that does remind me, though. Cars did put up some feedback posts and map discussion posts in the official Phobies Discord. Notably, also, this is something worth bringing up, because this happened this week, and I meant to say this in the beginning. Cars and Dudio Bugtron apparently have been talking to the devs about a variety of different balance factors. This is, yes, it's balance discussion. I said I was going to avoid it, but this is a different angle, so stay with me. This is something that I've been pleading for them to do for an enormous amount of time. Also, I'm just going to say, this is a weird board state, and it feels like Shadow Force is ahead here, but obviously Shadow Force doesn't win from this. So, real quick, the fact that the devs are taking player feedback in this way, specifically from high-level players that are respected among the community and have put forth coherent thoughts about the balance and other surrounding elements of the game is huge to me. This is what I've been calling for, where I don't feel, and I've been on record as this, that I don't think you should take every swinging dick's opinion into account, at least not in the way like that a lot of people are considering. And I imagine the devs weren't thinking about it in this way, but the problem is somebody who is not a very strong player, is going to have opinions that are not really grounded in, quote unquote, the way to play. I think that much is obvious. The answer to a lot of weaker players' problems is get good. And I've said that for a long time. That's not to, like, crap on these people. However, the bottom line is, if the answer is play better, and it legitimately is play better, should we be modifying game balance to account for someone's lack of skill? Some would argue yes, and that is a design philosophy. But if Phobies is supposed to be a high skill game, should we not reward the players who are playing well and let everybody else figure it out? It's a decision that has to be made, and it's just like decide which way you want the game to go. And there is an element of this phobie could be overpowered at this level, both due to skill and due to collection constraints. And the second one I'm way more sympathetic to because, as we've talked about, the economy sucks in Phobies. But if you want it to be a rewarding experience from a skill and gameplay perspective, I think it's important that you need to determine whether something is overpowered or underpowered at the highest levels of play, not the lowest. It's not to say that the feedback from the lower skill players is worthless or bad, but it needs to be evaluated for whether the answer is just play better. All of that to say that I'm glad that they are focusing on the higher level players, both Carson, Dudio, Bugtron, very strong players. They've been around the game for a while. They know what they're talking about. They've articulated it before in a good way to both the community and the devs through a variety of different means. And I think that this is a really important thing to get outside perspective, outside of smoking gun perspective on Phobies. So all that being said, we're going to jump back in. You're going to have to forgive me. I'm super tired. So like, what? I mean, okay. Sure. I am a little surprised we didn't see a break already. Like, break this obstacle and free up space. Just get the, like, if you're going to do it, get the cooldown back. But the amount of pressure that's being applied here, this is a map that's kind of like Red Rum, where if you get backed up, it is very challenging to get back into position. Now, Innocuous is a great tool to do that because obviously you can just pew-pew and bully people out of position. We'll see what our hero does here. Numbskull, huh? I don't know about that. So we're getting the break now. This obviously gives the sightlines up to the Innocuous. Smother Mother. Okay, so... this is an interesting choice. I'm not a fan of Big Phobie as, like, your penultimate phobie. The reason being, or your last phobie for that matter. Butcher, really? That's actually pretty good here. That's pretty good. I don't like it for a few reasons. One, like, you can't respawn as readily. You clearly don't have that many keys left. And because you're all in on this thing, your opponent, who still had a bunch of keys left, can choose to respond to it in a way that, again, you can't respond to. It's not, I do X, so therefore they do Y, so I do Z. There is no Z in this case. You're just stuck with what you have. I do like the displacement tool. Would you have been better off if this was Moffat? Because then you'd still have 5 keys left, maybe? You're already committed to 7 keys in the Innocuous and the Shove Shark, so from a team planning and comp perspective, you're running out of spots on your team, as well as, I mean, 7 keys is a significant chunk, right? Especially on a small map. But here, Butcher's going to come in and actually present a fairly dangerous threat. It's got the range. It's got the damage output. It's a mech. Just look at that. Yikes. Blom. And it's fairly tanky, right? And this is level 17. Almost 2,700 health. So it's not going to die easily. Additionally, I mean, you get the good shove shark push. Or pull. Yeah, push into pull, rather. I'm so tired. It didn't do a whole lot, but Butcher did get one hit off, I guess. Not as tanky as our hero might have liked. But I get the sense that this was all bait. If Smother Mother dies here, the game is just over, right? Actually, if you get Smother Mother and anything else, the game is over, I think. And you should be able to get the Grave Digger here, right? Oh, double kill from the Klepto. Kapow. I was just curious about the level disparity for a moment. And that's the ball game. Well played. I don't know if I would call the Butcher bait there. But it was definitely an interesting play. I guess you could call it bait, because, like, that is a tempting... It's a very tempting target, because the, it's a high-key phobie, so, like... excuse me. Being able to pop that is definitely important. But Smother Mother, by the same token, is not exactly tanky, so you're gonna end up eating a lot of damage. I don't think there was any way Shadow's Force... I mean, maybe if you dance around enough, you could have forced our hero into a mistake at some point. Not sure. Alright, chat. Painful Fate hates us. So we got a lights out game. Painful Fate would describe our experience with lights out. Brute Worst Protection Protocol. BPP for short. Maggie to the center. The classic opener. It's not a classic. I don't think I've ever witnessed somebody do that. I'm not going to lie. Here's a weird question. See how on the bottom of Eternal Night, another phobia we haven't seen in God knows how long, there's a shadow implying the light is coming from the top left. If bad guy put out an Eternal Night, does it flip the shadow? Or does it look like the light is coming from the same direction? You know what I mean? Nobody knows what I mean. It's not important. This is going to be a night where I may have like 80 different quotes to put at the beginning of the video because I'm just feeling delirious. Dude, does this mucus monster... And to mute the mic there. Oh, I have such a headache. And this, I don't know where this cough came from. It started yesterday. I think it's just because of the weather. Because it's going from like, and I'm not exaggerating, like 20 degrees to 80. Wait, not 80, but like 70 degrees. And then back again. And then back again. Wait, we do see Eternal Nights. Okay, so the light does look like it's coming from the same angle, even though the phobies flip. It's a great attention to detail. Well done, Phobies art team. I don't know if the shadows on all the phobies necessarily line up, but at least it's consistent within individual phobie. Unless it is not tied to the phobia itself, and the shadow is actually generated from the map. Because if you look at Shove Shark or the bottom of Dermic's medical gown, whatever you'd call this. Oh my god, the Maggie sniper! Maggie goes down. GG, Maggie. GG. Dude, what is going on in this game? Why is there an AWOL and a Gesundheit? Why is there a Dr. Dermick? I don't... Alright, Klepto. Good. Something normal. I mean, we have Shove Shark. That's kind of normal, but... Most of the other Phobies have really been out there. Also, both players enjoy cooking their Phobies. Barbecued Phobie is on the menu, apparently. Yeah, I think the shadow is being cast by the map, which is interesting. Yield lighting objects. It is possible for 3 of these Phobies to connect. But we're going to go for the double hit from Gesundheit. This, yeah, I was about to say, this is a dead Klepto, right? Pop, bad guy, just didn't see the Shove Shark coming. Look, there's the Brute-Wurst. God, that guy looks gross. Which I know he's supposed to, but like... Oh, that is gross. Which came first, Cluck Norris or Brute-Wurst? I think it was Cluck Norris, right? Because the sweating from Brute-Wurst kind of reminds me of like the basting for Cluck Norris. Radika's a final Phobie out of bad guy. Why are we protecting Brute-Wurst, though? Shouldn't this guy be going all in? God, this Phobie is so ridiculous. It's a broken fork, too. Although, admittedly, that kind of looks like a pitchfork. I've never seen Brute-Wurst in the other Phobie you're talking about. Well, you've never seen... What was the other one I was talking about that you've never seen? I mean, Brute-Wurst I can understand, but what was the other one? Because I feel like all these other ones have shown up. Oh, Cluck Norris. It looks like Foul. Just a little more orange. Like, it's a different shade. The Foul is more, like, pink chicken. You know, like raw chicken. And Foul is a little, like, I guess he's slightly cooked. Wait, what is happening? I was about to say, are we not... Oh, got him! Well played! Flail? We got the Brute-Wurst connection. Let's see if bad guy should be able to kill Brute-Wurst. I just don't see how you don't. Wait, what? Alright, I imagine this was done, yeah, for the multi-hit. I just got Flail today. Is it good? He's alright. I think Flail is an acceptable Phobie. It's more so that, dude, that's sick. Sick plays here, Painful Fate. What was I going to say? Oh, Flail. I like the concepts of Flail. I don't know if Flail is like... Oh, wow, the magic pixel. Yeah, the shadow being cast on the Flail of Flail is the same as what's on Eternal Night, so I imagine this is being done by the... and it's kind of the same on Spud. It's being done by the map. So the question was, is Flail good? I think Flail is playable. At least in concept. It's a melee Phobie, so it's always going to run into issues. Oh, god damn it. Hold on a second, chat. I'm going to forget to remove that in editing, but whatever. All right. We got more Painful Fate games. We got this one. Painful Fate, bringing it to us from Castaway. I think that one move with Sheep and Gas might have caused my opponent's match. What? I mean, I kind of understand what's being conveyed here, but... What? Maybe I'm just tired, but that does not English. Mopsy. Alright. Okay. Oh, that was the other news. We did get the Phobie contest. Apparently, Karst did win both the map and Phobie element, or he won 2 things, it sounded like? I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to it. I've never actually participated in any of those Phobie contests. Not for any particular reason. I just didn't feel like it. Who won the Phobie one? Well, I think there were several winners, but Karst was one of them. Pretty aggressive positioning from our hero, but inching up the bedside. The bedside. I can't talk. I was thinking today this stream was going to be a struggle. Only one is going to become an actual playable Phobie, I think. I thought all of the winners were going to be made into it. But in the fine print, I think it does say something like any of the ideas submitted can be used by Smoking Gun. Usually, anything like that has that sort of clause in it, where, like, if you submit something to the company, it becomes theirs. And there's a variety of reasons behind that, but I am not a lawyer, so... We've gotten Ash. Why do we have Ash? What is happening? You gotta forgive me. Besides the weather, like, I've not gotten it. I've had more Insomniac episodes lately. Or Insomnia episodes, I guess is a better way to put it. And, it's taking its toll, let me put it that way. And fart. That's why we have Ash. It's actually a pretty cool play. It's actually a pretty cool play. Popping the Mopsy. This prevents hits from immediately connecting with Sheep and Gas, so I don't mind this. I always love it when somebody aggressively pushes up, though. It's like, you know what? I'm committing to the game plan. I don't know that I love Shove Shark here, because now we have 2 utility Phobies. But you should be able to build a fairly significant... fairly significant positional advantage here. So we'll see how our hero leverages it. Apparently, bad guy is rattled. Since they're putting another Jackalope on the board. Bad guy in shambles. News at 11. You know what? I think I've asked this question before, chat, but, like, what would be... Feel free to let me know down in the YouTube comments, too. If the Phobies team came to you and said, give me one suggestion about... Wait, what? Team Creepy Crawlers here? Do I clip it? Or not clip this, but do I... use this as the thumbnail? Team Creepy Crawlers? Like, why do we have Ash and Moffat? That's weird. But I was going to ask, if the Phobies team came to you and said, tell us one thing that needs to happen for Phobies. and we'll do it. What would you pick? And it could be anything. Like, would it be balance? Would it be, not necessarily balance, but like new maps? Would it be new features? Would it be just new phobies? Would it be new events? And don't cheat and, like, well, I just want the game to be improved, so all of them. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. Oh, that is a great play. Hold on, I want to see this again. This is a great play. I was not looking for this, and I guarantee you Bad Guy was not looking for this either. The repositioning into the boop, into the yoink, into the big ol' fart explosion. That's gotta be the hit they were talking about. You love to see it. You love to see it. Oh, I'm telling you, my throat is killing me. We are looking at some mutton chops, though. Down goes sheep. You can't say sheep didn't get the value. That sheep got some value. The counter sheep, not bad. Not bad. Fetch laying down the boom, though. Dropping the hammer, if you will. Panic point advantage. Hero. Trivolta? This is our hero's last phobie, so this is a difficult position to be in. But with the panic point advantage, Bad Guy is going to have to push up. Baby Snaky. Ooh, interesting. Is that worth it? You can boop. Oh my god, dude. Painful Fate is like squeezing every last inch of value out of these displacement phobies. This was a really cool game. There was actually some really cool plays in this. Carson brought it up before where, like we've, because I've had this discussion with a lot of people that I don't mind seeing the same stuff over and over again if it's a cool thing or something I enjoy. Because I think it was in response to like, oh, well, I think I'm getting bored of seeing the same thing over again. But it's less that and more I get bored of seeing boring things. But this game had a lot of cool plays. Partially because you did have some off-the-wall phobies, and partially because they were just more interesting phobies. Like, Moffat is an interesting phobie. Because it enables plays. Why didn't that Trivolta die? Did the snowball act? I don't think the snowball did anything. Definitely could have fireballed the Trivolta. I don't know if it would have been enough, but, like, it's better than not doing it, right? Bad Guy's just cooked. Very well played, Painful Fate. This was pretty cool. The 4-to-1 panic point advantage. The come and get me approach. Bad Guy scoops it up. GG. Well played. Ah, shit. I accidentally got out of their profile. I didn't mean to do that. Wah, wah. Alright, hold on. I gotta get the spreadsheet back up. go? There it is. Oh, excuse me. Once again, painful fate. Once again, castaway. I don't know how I managed to keep my phobies alive, even though Smiley's disease was slowly making their survival low. So here's a question. Because we've talked about this before. In Phobies lore, does a phobie... Like if a phobie dies, is it kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, where if you die in your game, you just respawn? But if you die outside your game? So, like, does Smiley get invited to very many parties? I have to imagine you don't want to die, even if you're a phobie and you keep coming back. And you don't want to get diseased, for sure. So... Like, how does that work in Phobieland? They have a police department, for God's sake. So, like... And they have an apartment building, because we did the whole Vendy hunt thing. So, like, there has to be... Whether, I guess Dr. Dermot can cure Smiley's disease if they have the full faculties of their hospital that they work at, but they can't do it on the battlefield. As a battlefield medic, their abilities are restrained. Is that what we're saying? I don't know. I will say Painful Fate is... I don't know if you're going out of your way to put some more unique phobies on the board, but that is what's happening. Well, we're getting a repeat in Bad Side. Bad Side, I think, is one of the cooler phobies. I don't know why I'm so amused by Bad Side, but Bad Side is amusing to me. It's clearing out some 1 keys. I was about to say nearly clearing them out since the Contortio lived, but then it didn't. So I didn't need to say it. Instead, I'm saying this. That's the life of a streamer. You just say things that there's really no need to say. Or you watch games where phobies are spawned. No reason to be spawned. Why are we putting Ray Chartles on the board? Presumably just for a ranged flyer, but like... I don't know. About a third of the way of the game. Third of the way in of the game. And no sign of Smiley. Feel like I've been lied to. Bad guy banking a key. We'll see what they do because it shouldn't be Smiling. There's Fetch once again. The Fetch as a response to Sheep and Gas seems odd. Poison Ivy. Jap, my wife and I just started watching the Harley Quinn show again. Even though, like, we're probably a year behind on the latest season. And I forgot how much I enjoyed that show. It just makes me laugh. There's a level of, okay, they are hell-bent on being ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous. However, it's still a very enjoyable show. And I'm waiting for the next Creature Commandos season to come out, too. So I enjoyed that one. That's a dead Ray. We can pull, like, Stairmaster into position, I guess? But the Fetch is on the other end of creation, and we don't have a good way to get it into the fight this turn. And now you have to play around your opponent's Miss Moffat. Interesting. Alright, that's gotta be a dead. Ooh, well played. So it's gonna cook the Flail. Snowball presumably one-shotting the jar, but we'll see momentarily. Yep, double kill. 12 keys total for bad guy, only 5 remaining for our hero. Living a little dangerously like this. There's the smiley. Based on the notes, are we getting like a full commit dive or something? Bad guy doesn't have shove shark or other friendly displacement for the smiley right now. Is there any other friendly? Well, I guess a cure is a friendly displacement. As opposed to paddles. You give something a little different. The old classic trap on the panic point plan. Doesn't really work out usually. Misanthrope. Okay then. Wow, this is going to be a lot of disease. Okay, this is all self-inflicted. Huh. Okay. The Moffat pulled down. So, bad guy's playing back so far that our hero is able to kind of divide and conquer here because they can isolate the Stairmaster or the other phobies from each other. So you'd pick one off, rotate, and also threaten a heart push because bad guy's getting the crap beat out of them on that front. Really? Is that really necessary? I mean, I guess it gets the kill right away. Panic point advantage, bad guy. Coming off the rope swinging. They got a standing 8 count, but they're trying to make it happen. Little fart explosion for the spider and the poisonous Venus flytrap. So is fetch? I guess the fetch is a wolf. Because it's going after the sheep. If I wasn't so tired, I'd come up with a more witty comparison, but like, there's something there, right? Just pretend I said something really funny. Let me know down in the comments what your ideas for a funny joke there would be. There's got to be a dog wolf sheep joke in there somewhere. Alright, so we're going to get a big flail retaliation. Should be able to kill multiple phobies this turn. Nice. So we do get multiple kills. I was thinking they were going to get the Moffat, but seemingly not. Actually, have enough damage to just, like, or enough pressure to go for the heart if you wanted, but I think bad guy's going to just die to the panic points here. Not enough phobies, not enough actions. Panic point damage for the dub. GG, well played. Alright, chap. One more Painful Fate game. I feel like all the games from Painful Fate were 24 turns, which is just weird. Tried using Stairmaster this time. He actually did good. I've always felt Stairmaster was fine. He was kind of the most maligned of the basic early phobies. He's fine. You have the tankier range guy in Cyclops. You have the more glass cannon guy in Stairmaster. You know, conceptually it's fine. But I'm also of the opinion that they never intended, well, maybe not never intended, but they do not intend to have all Phobies be on the same level. And some of them are just like, okay, these are your starter Phobies, and this is just to check a box so that you have a ranged Phobie. And then you just graduate and get, you know, playable Phobies. That sort of thing. Why do we have the stapler remover? Why did Baby Snakey show up? Is this just... You know what would be interesting, Chad? Because we've talked about... This would never work. For the record, this would never work. But a lot of people have played in the Phobies Draft League, right? And conceptually, I understand why people want to do it. I just don't think it really works. And I think it would be way too much effort to try and code it into the game itself. Now we're picking off the Maggie. I guess we can chase down the Baby Snakey. I don't think you need the canine. Oh, please. All right, back. I don't think you need the canine in that position, but I guess it's fine. The idea that I was going to... Mildred, what? Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get this idea out. What if you had a randomizer mode where you literally get... It's like, okay, you get 20 Phobies. And it would be guaranteed to be X number of ultra rares, Y number of rares, Z number of uncommons, and whatever number of commons. Maybe you get all the starter ones plus that stuff. And then it's... You try and... You play in like a mini tournament to see who can get the farthest. There might have to be restrictions because at the end of the day, like... Oh, I opened Phantom, Shove Shark, Sentinel, whatever. And you opened, like, Leela. And, like, other garbage. And then you play, like, 3 to 5 games or something like that. I think that could be interesting. I think it would be kind of cool. I don't think it would work because you would have to set everything to level 1. They might have to introduce another currency. Maybe you could pay for it for tiers. I don't know. The biggest issue is Phobies is a pick-counter-pick game, so the part where somebody could just have straight-up better Phobies than you causes problems. But I think it might be an interesting challenge mode. Rather than drafting teams, so it's like if you play card games, it's draft versus sealed deck. Where sealed deck, they give you X number of packs, you open it up, and you build from what you get. Whereas draft is you open packs collectively, and then pick what goes into your deck. In this case, you would just be assigned whatever it is, and I think it could be interesting. You would definitely see, like, way more eclectic and esoteric combinations of Phobies because you just wouldn't have access to some of the more standard things. You'd have to have some sort of baseline for, like, you get X number of 1 keys, Y number of whatever. Maybe every pool is guaranteed to have some number of displacement between X and Y. So, like, you're guaranteed to have at least 1 displacement Phobie. Any of them. Could be Ash. Could be Attractor. But you also could only have a max of 3 or something. So, like, you can't have every displacement Phobie or something like that. But maybe one person gets Akira, and then the other person gets Fetch. You could see where this would have problems. Also, our hero looks like they're getting their ass beat right now. His Mildred has gotten like 7 kills. It's probably not that many, but the Mildred is down. Bad guy down to their last 5 keys, as is our hero. Flesh Crawler, because reasons. Flesh Crawler could get some value here. It actually can get a lot of value, but there isn't enough to really support it, so if it goes in, it's probably just going to die. Add sushi? Why? What are we doing? Chad, I showed my wife a video that I was editing. I'm like, oh, what do you think of this section? She's like, well, I think you're upside down. And she starts laughing, and I'm like, I don't know why that's funny to everybody, but it is. Even my wife thought it was amusing. What's my opinion on Flesh Crawler? I mean, it's had like 2 or 3 buffs already. I think it's playable. It's creepy as hell, which I guess is the point. I think it's playable. I don't think it's great. Like, if I was tiering them, it would be like tier 2 or tier B, I think. Just due to the fact that you have to put in, not an extreme, but you have to put in a significant amount of effort to make it work. Does really low damage for 7 cost. Believe it or not, it used to be way less. It got some fairly significant buffs. It does do low damage, but it was embarrassing how bad it was before. At the current state it's in, I think it's playable. Our hero once again victorious. Who could have predicted that? Honestly, just move the mic onto the obstacle. Like, who cares? I guess maybe the mic would have died to a direct hit from the tentacles, and that's why, but he did, who cares? You're getting there anyway. Well, despite the Mildred plays, our hero able to take the W. Not by killing the heart, which they could have done already. They killed the Flesh Crawler. GG. Alright, chat. Let's get the next game. We only got 2 left in the hopper, which is good, because I need to go to bed. I am very, 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 very tired. Obviously, I still haven't fixed the DTOFs yet. I'm doing it slowly. Alright. 23 turn game on Phobia. This game is dumb and stupid. It's dumb and stupid. And I won this one. I'm embarrassed that this is the type of game I win. Enjoy. Alright. I am in love with this game already. What is happening? Why is there a Finnegan? Alright, turn 1, Finnegan. Wait. Bad guy banked on turn 1. And our hero went Finnegan Droney. Part of me says this game should not have lasted 23 turns, and part of me wants it to last 40 just to see what other insanity happens, but bad guy passes into Shove Shark. It's the classic skip Shove Shark smiley play. How did I not see this coming? Probably because no sane person has ever done this. What are we doing? Like, what? What type of phobia would you like to see in a future update? Can you clarify the question? Do you mean, like, the type of phobia, the abilities, or, like, what are we talking about? I played into something similar, but my enemy bank keys for Chuck. At lower ranks, and I distinctly remember talking about this, like 2.5 years ago, 2 3/4 year ago, like when the game first came out, and we're like, will banking on one strategies be a thing? Spoiler alert, it's not. Please don't do that. It's bad. It's bad for your health. It's bad for your win rate. Are we going to... It was all of this to set up a... I love how they've trapped the Gravedigger, but we're going to go disease poison because why not? You shouldn't be embarrassed to win this game, Grunkly. This is ridiculous. This kind of game is like a palate cleanser. That if you were... Imagine we still had Fright Night, and it was like 7 or 8 grueling rounds of really high-level Phobies play, in-depth moves and strategies, and people winning games on back of like a singular play that they just were able to scrape out. And then you would have this as like the palate cleanser to be like, all right, let's bring the tensions down a little bit. Everybody relax. Let's have a little silliness. So I've been saying this for a while, that the phobia that I want added is an undead T-Rex with resurrection. And resurrect that's actually good. Like maybe when it resurrects, it does something, not just resurrect. So it's like it AoEs around it, or it has a displacement, either to push them back or pull your guys closer or something. An undead T-Rex, because I just want it to be that for random slots. I guess I should have submitted something for the Creative Phobia contest, but womp womp. I think Resurrect is a really cool mechanic that probably can never be good, because if it is good, it will end up being oppressive. Like, if you have a Resurrect phobia that is good explicitly because of the Resurrect, I think you have an unhealthy phobia. Because it will then... Like, think about it. If it's good because it has Resurrect, that means that it is difficult to kill, or it is problematic for your opponent to kill. Like, they can kill it, but they're going to get penalized heavily. And that puts, from a gameplay perspective, that's a net, like, a fun negative. Because it's sapping fun out of the game. It's fun for the person playing it, but and you could say this about a lot of things, that, like, it's fun for the person using it, not fun for the person on the receiving end. But there are degrees to it, and it's like, how much fun are we generating? Ideally, both players are having fun. It's a competitive game, so that's going to be challenging, but if you are just looking at it from, like, you're making something that's completely binary, it is impossible for your opponent to have fun because they end up just getting smoked. Like, that's not the position you want to be in. Resurrection would be cool on a non-undead phobia, like a monster. People have brought up the idea of, like, say it's a mech. We have enough good mechs, but, like, it's a mech made up of nanobots or something like that. There's a lot of ways you could do it with a monster, too, of course. Trying to think. I don't know what bad guy's doing. They love sitting on the lava for some reason. I think they're just, like, at this point, they're just waiting out the Klepto, but... Bop. And then there was a triple panic point advantage. This was a very weird game, and this is a map that I hate because, and I know tons of people tell me that this is not how it plays out, but, like, from experience, most of the time on this map, players ignore each other, march turrets across the top, and then just pummel the heart. That did not happen in this game, which is ridiculous. I think you should have put creep on the panic point. I guess it doesn't really matter, but... GG. We got him. For me, sometimes one, sometimes the other. I mean, I've been told that... And we have watched, like, one game, maybe, where it was not a turret push, and it was, like, somebody defending a turret push. But I think that map tends to revolve around that. God damn it. All right, last game of the evening. We have a mercifully short one from dearh. Never max out your phobies on this map. That's a rule you should live by on virtually every map. And what we kind of see a lot, especially on small maps, is people will lock themselves out with like 2, sometimes even 3 1 keys. It's like, that is not where you want to be, friend. The Newly Deads. I still can't get over how big Ted's heart is. It is enormous. That's some cartoon level organs. And you know all those cartoons, like Looney Tunes, where characters like Heart would be beating out of their chest? That's what that reminds me of. I miss Looney Tunes. I haven't watched it in a long time. I love baiting enemies to place 1 keys and then letting them live so they can't spawn. Exactly, like, key management, because Phobies, aside from being in a pick-counter-pick game, is a game about tempo. As a result of your picks and counter-picks. And I'm lumping your composition, as in, like, quantity for your composition. I'm lumping that into... Ooh, the double hit with the boom, leading to a double kill. Sick. Bad guy, what is you doing? Proper management of your team as far as how many phobies you put on the board is very important. And not enough people pay enough attention to it. Now the question is, does our hero lose their corn? Okay. Not even really a question. Not even really a question. Technically, bad guy with the board advantage, not just keys, or excuse me, panic points, but they are also up in keys. Inoculus is even. We had the Newly Deads, which would have equaled the unicorn, but then we also had a 1 key. But now, we got a Tickles. Why? Slayer's going to go on my bloat and halfy list pretty soon. I'm never a fan of 1 mover 1 keys. They just don't feel good enough. Jill and Ted are an exception. Cerberus. So we had to get the double retreat there because otherwise Shove Shark pushes bad guys Inoculus into range. But I do like the Cerberus as an answer here. It's super tanky. Bad guy doesn't really have a lot of high damage output, and I think I know where this game is going. No, Jill powered down. Had the momentary Super Mario Brothers shrink. That's a bad... Oh. That's actually hysterical. That's hysterical. Our hero being very cautious with their Inoculus, not moving it up because despite the Jill body block, you could make a Shove Shark play to be able to, you know, you clear out the Jill, Shove Shark, the Inoculus up, that kills the Jill, and then could pop our hero's guy. But, yeah, bad guy's locked out right now. And here's the funny thing. I hit the wrong button. I meant to disable the mic, not the camera. Oh, please. Here's the funny thing. Well, never mind. Our hero is able to lock the Slayer into position with Rusty, probably trying to get ahead of the play I'm about to describe, which is bad guy could take their one key. I guess I could still do it with Contortio. Put it on the conveyor tile and send it into Oblivion so that you can get usage out of your 10 keys. And they're actually going for it here. I think it's still going to be too slow, quite obviously. But that it is a heads-up play. It is pretty cool. But that's Cerberus on your heart on a small map. Unicorn or Venus? Unicorn. That is... It's not even close. Venus is a mediocre phobie. Unicorn is one of the best phobies in the game, full stop. Oof. 5-0 panic point advantage. Cerberus on the heart. Bad guy. Cooked. Making their best effort, just getting some points because they have to know this game is over. Ooh, a little frosty action. Notably, didn't even bother freezing the Cerberus. Could they have lived? They might have lived. Probably not, though. Probably not. Very well played. That's a good heads-up play there, dearh. Well done. Alright, chap. That's going to do it for this evening. That is all the games in the queue. Only 7 tonight. 7? Yeah, 7. Which I'm okay with because, like I said, I am super tired. We'll be back at the end of the week. We'll see when we get news from the devs. Like some actual... We've been promised a lot of changes, or there's been a lot of talks about things for changes coming down the pipe. We'll see what actually materializes. I'm very much looking forward to it. We're going to try and resume Monster of the Week this week. We'll see. We'll see. But as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And tune in next time for more Random Thoughts.